make a live. So right now it's a bit grainy, but I suppose it's serving the purpose for the time being. So the title of this is about of Joshua's wealth, because the successor of Moses. Moses had all of the success that he had, but then his success is counted because he actually had the successor. So just as anyone who has success, their success is defined by their actual successor. So Moses came through his successor, which was Joshua. So Joshua's life is very interesting because um, the chapter of Joshua 1, Joshua is told that he is given the the gift that the gifts and the blessings and everything that Moses was given. He also got it. So he was given the same blessings and he was given the same instructions. So among his instructions, he's told that the word of his mouth should not the words of his mouth should always be the things that are instructed. And then he's also told that he's supposed to be in a state of being able to meditate. So he was in a meditative state, and he was being told that to, he's able to knowledge of the good knowledge of God, the righteousness of God, and he was able to use that. He was able to use the knowledge of God with meditation day and night. So the meditation of day and night is to understand the wisdom that is spoken in Proverbs chapter in Proverbs chapter 8 and in Psalms chapter 19. So wisdom is always building a house. Wisdom is always shouting. Wisdom is always calling out. But what we see with the life of Joshua is that the blessing of God is what makes riches, wealth. That blessing is actually what made Joshua capable of doing anything, because this blessing that he got was the blessing of dominion, which is the wit dominion, the wisdom that he got. That blessing was also giving him the knowledge of Solomon, which is the knowledge of wisdom. So with wisdom, you can attain the blessings that are given freely, right? But what is in about wisdom is that it says that I am shouting at the high places, I am shouting right at the streets, I am shouting right here, right? But then that wisdom is also something that says you should seek me diligently, you should find me, because a lot of people cannot find wisdom. So what it actually means and what it actually says is that, or what it results to, is that all of the wisdom that we get, we think we have to find it somewhere hidden, but it is always shouting at the high places. It is also shouting at the gates and at the doors. So that's not somewhere that we should struggle to find it. And yet, man will put his hand on the rock and overturn the mountains to find gold. So this is Proverbs chapter 28, that poem where where Job is going over. Let me let me just read it a little bit, because wisdom is something else. So there was a certain wisdom in the ministry of this minister, Joshua. So we want to understand his ministry because he's described as the minister of Moses, right? So, here I'm gonna go to Job 28. Okay, and I'm just gonna be reading that because this is like something else. Like, I actually want to read it through the screen. So let's see. Surely there is a vein for the silver, and a place for gold where they find it. Iron is taken out of the earth, and brass is molten out of the stone. He sets an end to darkness and searches out all perfection. The stones of darkness and the shadow of death. The flood breaks out from the habitat. Even the waters forgets the foot, and they are dried off, they are gone away from the man. As for the earth, out of it comes bread, and under it is turned up by fire. The lion with the aura here. The stones of it are places of sapphires, and it has dust of gold. There is a path no fowl knows, and which the vulture's eye has not seen. The lion whelps have not trodden it, nor the fierce lion pass by it. He puts forth his hand upon the rock, and overturns the mountains by the roots. He cuts out rivers among the rocks, and the eye which sees every precious thing. He binds the floods from overflowing, and the thing that is hid brings it to light. But where shall wisdom be found, and where is the place of understanding? So this is the reason I'm reading this. Because where shall wisdom be found, and where is the place of understanding? Right? Where shall wisdom be found, and where's the place of understanding? Man knows not the price thereof, neither is it found in the land of the living. The depth says it is not with me, and the sea says it is not with me. It cannot be gotten for gold, neither shall silver be weighed for the price thereof. It cannot be valued in the gold of Ophir, and the precious onyx of sapphire. Okay, so it's saying, but where shall wisdom be found? Right? So let's try to find wisdom. All right, let's just finish this, and then we'll find wisdom. Says the gold and the crystal cannot equal it, and the exchange of it shall not be for jewels of fine gold. No mention shall be made of coral or of pearls, for the price of wisdom is above rubies. The topaz of Ethiopia shall not equal it, neither shall it be valued with pure gold. Whence then come wisdom, and where is the place of understanding again? Seeing it is hid from the eyes of all the living, and kept close from the fowls of the air. Destruction and death say, we have heard the fame thereof with our ears. God understands the way thereof, and he knows the place thereof. For he looks to the end of the earth, and sees under the whole heaven, to make the weight for the winds, and the weight of the waters by measure, when he made a decree for the rain, and a way for the lighting of the thunder. Then did he see it and declare it. He prepared it, he searched it out. And unto man he said, Behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. So, we've just seen the way of wisdom. So now I'm going to go to Proverbs chapter 8. All right. It's Proverbs chapter, like the book of Proverbs in my Bible. It is pretty like it's my it's my spot, you know. So yeah. So it says, "Does wisdom not cry and understanding put forth her voice? She stands in the top of the high places, by the way of the places of the paths. She cries at the gates at the entry of the city, at the coming in of the doors." We're just asking, where shall wisdom be found? Where is she? She's at the gates. So the gates is so simple and so easy. Everyone's by the gates and at the entry of the city, at the coming in of the door, right? Unto you, O man, I call, and my voice is to the sons of man. O you simple, understand wisdom, and you fools, be of an understanding heart. Okay. So, yeah, I was just reading Job 28, and then I was reading Proverbs chapter 8. So, Job is asking, where shall wisdom be found? And Proverbs is answering, wisdom is found at the gates, and it is at the doors, in high places. So, it seems like wisdom is not hard to find because it's right at the gates, right at the doors. Everyone's got a door, everyone's got a gate, or everyone's at some form of gate, everyone's at some form of door um, at, at any given time, right? So this is where wisdom is found. But we have heard in Job chapter 28 that man will actually like cut out a mountain, will dig down into the crevices of the earth, deep down inside, just to find this gold. Do we find like that same difficulty in finding wisdom? No. Our wisdom is found at the gates and at the door. Our wisdom is not difficult to find. So now that's the thing that a lot of people would find it hard to find wisdom because it is the wisdom, like through the meditation of Joshua. Like he was taught how to meditate. He was told to meditate, taught how to meditate through the instructions. So does wisdom not cry and understanding put forth her voice? So the the voice of wisdom, what does it sound like? And where is it found? So for that one, this is to understand the path of wisdom, which is the path that um, successful Joshua took, right? So Psalm 19. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. Day unto day utters speech, and night unto night shows knowledge. There is no speech nor knowledge where their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them has he set a tabernacle for the sun. So this speech, there is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. This is a speech which is heard everywhere. Their, their line is gone out through all earth. Their words, these are speaking with words to the end of the world. In them has he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is a bridegroom coming out of the chamber and rejoices as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, the circuit unto the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. Commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold. sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. Moreover, by them is thy servant warned, and in keeping in them there is great reward. Who can understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from secret faults. Keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sin. Let them not have dominion over me. Then shall I be upright, and I shall be innocent from the great transgression. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my sight and the meditation be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Okay, so that is Psalm 19. So it's speaking of all of these things, and then it ends up saying, let the words and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. So the words of your heart, the words of your mouth, the meditation of your heart, the words of the mouth, the meditation of the heart. So the words of the mouth and the meditation of the heart. So this is the real question, like, what are the words that come out of the mouth, and what are the words that come out of the heart? So this psalm is showing us wisdom, okay? And then when we go to Joshua's secret to success, we're going to see so somewhere here. Verse 8, and this book of the law not depart from your mouth, but shall meditate, but you shall meditate therein day and night. So again, these words shall not depart from his mouth, and this shall be the meditation of his heart, that you may observe to do according to all that is written, for then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and shall have good success. So this is what Joshua got. He got prosperity and success. So this is the key to his prosperity. The key to his success was the words of the mouth and the meditation of the heart. So his heart was in the meditation. His words were just like in Psalm 19. This is what Joshua was all about. Like, this is what he was on about. So among this, he also had, be strong and of a good courage, be afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee, whithersoever you go. So he's also commanded to be strong and of good courage. So this mental, physical, and spiritual strength gave him courage. He also not to be afraid. So he didn't have any fear. He was bold. Neither be thou dismayed. 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 So this is speaking of emotions, not to be like easily like losing your cool, because there is there is the understanding of the person who is not wise. According to Proverbs, it says the person who is not wise will will is like a city that is broken down without walls, right? And here Joshua was a person who broke down walls because of wisdom, or because of his power to have emotional control. So this is neither be thou dismayed. This is what he's talking about when he's talking about being dismayed. He's talking about emotional fortitude, emotional fortitude. For the Lord thy God is with thee wheresoever you go. Okay, so this is how Joshua was blessed. The book of the law will not depart from your mouth, and you shall meditate day and night, that you observe to do according to all that's written, for then you shall be prosperous, have good success. Have I not? Be strong and of good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. God is with thee, wheresoever you go. So, so this is the full blessing of Joshua. Joshua was told he has to have the words in his heart, and he also needs to have the words on his mouth. This was the blessing of Joshua. So the reason, or the reason why went to the book of Job and went to understand more about finding wisdom, because all of this came because Joshua had a certain wisdom. So his wisdom was because he was the minister of Moses. So we want to know more about the ministry of Joshua, because he was able to administer so many things, administration. So this ministry is actually what was given the 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 promised land. This is how you administer it. So this administration worked with these principles, the principles of the words of God is what's always supposed to be on his mouth all day, all night, and those words in his heart all day, all night. So this is how the ministry worked. And this gave him prosperity. This gave him success. This gave him more knowledge. This gave him more ability. But this was how he was able to administer everything. And this power and this strength is something that I really admire in Joshua, although he's like not exactly put in the forefront as a figure when people mention a lot of biblical figures, because his life was so mysterious, it was so protected, it was so ministerial and administerial. Yeah, he was like the administration, so a lot of people didn't really see what was happening through that administration, how he used to administer powers. But he's actually responsible for one of the greatest miracles, which is when the sun and the moon stood still, which is him meditating day and night when there's the sun and when there's the moon. So he had this gift, and he was operating to that level of miraculousness that he was able to stop the sun and the moon for a whole day, right? So he also met the archangel. So his life is the book of Joshua is a book of prosperity. So when you go to the end of the book, it's what Joshua. Let me just see which verse it is. Okay. So, well, it's one of the last verses in this in the last chapters. It's also speaking about this pattern. We also have the ark of the Lord served, but then he was a very definitive person. He's the one in the end. He's just saying that um, um, we will also serve the Lord. All right. So yes, exactly. Now therefore put away no among incline your heart unto the Lord. And the people said, we will obey the covenant. Well, the story of Joshua is actually a teaching on that meditation. I didn't find the verse that I'm actually looking for, but in his speeches and in his words, what he shows is courage. What he shows is determination, grit. He has a certain fortitude, and this fortitude is him not being dismayed. So there might be things that happen to people, and then they get dismayed. So he had a certain fortitude that he was always of good courage. The 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 fruit of the spirit of love, which is love, peace, patience, everything. But you need to always have joy, and this joy is always displayed in how you express your own self. So I think I have exhausted this topic. So I suppose I'll end it here. And I've always wanted to do more of the lives and make them more interactive so that anybody can also contribute. So right now, I'll just stop here if there are no contributions. So I do appreciate the time